अच्छा जी, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's review our last lecture of the last class. What did we talk about? And does anyone remember what we talked? Ji.
Business strategies and types of inventory.
So what were the three strategies we talked about?
Differentiated, responsive, cost effective.
Cost effective. So there are three strategies. I want everyone to keep the notebook so that you don't miss any point. Okay, let's begin with the three strategies, business strategies. ठीक है, first one is get it. Cost effective, and the third one is okay. We talked about these three strategies. In the differentiated strategy, we talked about the strategy in which we come up with the unique selling point. ठीक है? We come up with the differentiated offering of services and products. We can give the one of the company gave the gloves which is good for the skin, ठीक है, which is good for the skin, which does not create any harm to the skin, ठीक है. The special therapeutic shampoos are there, ठीक है, which basically gives therapy to your hair care shampoos. So basically these are the differentiation. These are the differentiation. So differentiation, you can be confused with the differentiation and the responsive strategy. But when we talk about the responsive, we talked about the quickness. We talked about the quickness, okay? And delighting the customer on the basis of the quick response to the customer request. Whatever the customer demand is, we quickly respond to that. When we talk about differentiated, it is when we have multiple products in the industry, but your product is visibly different from others in terms of its functions, in terms of its attributes. It is visibly different. ठीक है, like Apple Mobile, it is visibly different. Apple 16 is visibly different from the other competitors. So this is a differentiated strategy. So in that you charge a premium price, ठीक है, and you charge premium price because of your differentiated product and services. Otherwise, no customer will give you more money than the other competitors' product. When we talk about responsiveness comes with the quickness, with the expected time, lead time of customer expect from you. ठीक है? So you meet that demand. And when we talk about the cost effectiveness, it is visibly found in our industry. Most of the companies are cost effective actually. In our country, most of the family-owned business are cost effective actually. ठीक है? They are cost effective. So what does that mean, cost effective? Any idea? Very good. Specifically, we talked about the inventory. Inventory is one of the driver of supply chain. One of the very important concept is inventory. So when we talk about the inventory, in that you see in the cost effectiveness or the cost effective strategy, we do not keep a huge number of inventory. Why? Because inventory is our asset, it is our investment. So we cannot stop our investment with the name of inventory only. Okay? We need cash to run the business. We need to cash to run the business. Okay? So it basically reduces the cash flow of your company when you have inventory. So mostly company try to be cost effective, specifically in terms of inventory. And when you talk about the cost effective, it is cost effectiveness means whatever offering you have, whatever segment you are targeting, okay, you must be cost effective. You cannot hire a supplier who is giving you the higher prices. You cannot hire the transporter which is asking for a higher prices. Okay, you cannot go with the premium manufacturing. Okay, you cannot go. You cannot hire the human resource which is very expensive. You cannot. Okay, why? Because you are cost effective. Okay, you want to reduce the cost by any and every means. It does not mean that you compromise on your services. It's a very important point. You never compromise on your services. Okay? Good companies. For example, in the local context, we talked about the Imtiaz. Imtiaz store is a cost-effective strategy, and in that strategy, you see most of the time they try to give the everyday low price. So everyday low price, how is it possible? It is possible because they try to manage price, the cost in every of their operations, in any and every of their operations. For example, they get the supplies. They get the supplies of a finished product from the vendors which are giving them the lowest price. They are getting the finished good from the lowest price vendor. So you see lowest price vendor, why they are looking for? They are buying from the Judia Bazaar, they are buying from the distributor, they are buying from the manufacturer. So why? Because they want to forward that low cost to the customers. So that is the cost effective strategy in which you go, your strategy is to attract customer or increase the demand through the cost effectiveness. So you see the visible difference in the prices. Though it's kind of controversial. People say that few of the items have a very low price, but most of the items have not. So it is one of the point of view. But if we take it as an argument, so we can say you can find low prices of few goods at least, but you cannot find these kind of prices anywhere. I am telling you, nowhere. Why? Because of their cost effective strategy. They are fulfilling the expectation of the customers. They are known because of the pricing. They are known because of the, so they cannot compromise. When you go to the Imtiaz, and if you don't find anything lower than the normal price, then you will stop going to Imtiaz. I'm telling you. So the customers are coming by looking at the prices. Ji.
Cost effective में quality में compromise होता है.
Very good question. Your good name? Haris. So Haris साहब, when we say quality, what do we mean by quality? Charges. देखें, try to understand quality is the expectation of customer. ठीक है, तो when we talk about, let's take an example, Imtiaz cannot compromise, should not compromise on the quality. Should not compromise on the quality in terms of the services at all. ठीक है? On the basis of the cost effectiveness. So cost effectiveness does not mean that you reduce the quality. Whatever you promise to the customer, you have to deliver. For example, the Suzuki Mehran has its own specifications. And if Suzuki is not providing that specification in the particular price, what does that mean? It means they are not giving the right quality. So when we say the quality, it is as per the promise of the manufacturer, whatever the promise is. So if Imtiaz is promising the everyday low price, okay, and it is accumulating that, it is executing that very well, so it is cost effective. Okay? So quality does not mean that you start comparing with these more better store like Metro, Macro, Carrefour. You cannot, because they are not saying we are like Carrefour. They are saying that we have an everyday low price that is available over there. Okay? The quality, any strategy does not mean that you are compromising on quality. A very, very important point. Because if you compromise on the quality, what does that mean? It means you are not fulfilling your promise with the customer. You are not fulfilling your promise with the customer. And what do you think? the company can compromise on this, on any of this strategy? Not possible, because the customer expectation is something which creates the demand, which sustain the demand. Okay? So it's very, very important, and you raised a very good question. The students usually ask that, sir, please tell us, okay, how do they manage the quality? Because whenever you improve the quality, the cost increases. So basically, it is a myth. So you never expect that kind of premium services at Imtiaz. You never expect. When you go inside and you don't feel very good, so it's okay. Say it's okay. Because why? Because you have come to the store who is offering you the lowest price. So you never expect that you will be given a feel like a Nahid store, like other big store, Carrefour. No, you will not be giving the feel like that. But you will be giving the best prices. That is for sure. Okay? Got it? So any other question you have? This is a very, very important topic, and we shall move on. I will just touch upon on the inventory concept, which is our primary objective of studying this. You see, we have already discussed about the cost effectiveness in the inventory concept. In the cost effectiveness strategy, we do not keep much inventory. We try to reduce inventory as much as possible. Now it's a challenging part, how to reduce the inventory. So basically, you reduce the inventory through involving your supplier and the distributor. You involve every partner of yours. This is a kind of technical thing. And for that, you require a very shrewd and very skillful people who can make an agreement on their terms. For example, Imtiaz does not require a huge amount of stock, but require the price of their choice. Why? Because they do not want to keep the inventory in their warehouse. Why? Because they don't want to stuck their cash in the inventory. They don't want the stock to be damaged because of the operational problem. You don't want. So they say that we will not be carrying inventory in a huge quantity, so you have to frequently replenish us. So you see, cost effectiveness is possible when you manage with your suppliers. And in terms of when we talk about the manufacturer, you have to manage with your distributor. Like you restrict your distributor that you have to keep the inventory of 10 days. If you do not keep the inventory of 10 days, we will fire you from our distribution. So this is their term. So the big brands, when we talk about the big brands, so the distributor accepts, yes, okay, fine. Why? Because of their turnover. Their turnover is pretty high. So because of that, what do? They accept the terms, the difficult terms, the investment term requirement of the manufacturer. That is called principal. Principal, likh le apne paas. Principal, school principal wala. The principal is the one who is the master of the distributor. Who is the master of the distributor? So principal is the one who is the master of the distributor. So when we use the term principal, we say the principal make the agreement with the distributor in their own terms because of their brand equity. Okay, everyone like to be part of the Unilever brand. Every distributor want to be part of Dalda brand, the P&G brand, the Nestle brand, the Coca-Cola brand, the Pepsi brand. Why? Because of this. Their turnover is pretty high. They make a good amount of money because of that. And they know that. They know it very well. That distributor is making a big amount from us. So what do? They force the distributor to keep the inventory in their terms, at least 10 days. And how, from where this magic number comes, any idea? The 10 days idea? Why 10 days? Why not 12 days, 14 days? बिल्कुल सही, very valid. लेकिन why any number like 10? My point is.
सर प्रोडक्ट पे डिपेंड करता है.
आगे पेमेंट्स करनी होती होगी इस हिसाब से.
ठीक है, pretty close but not complete. जी.
सर प्रोडक्ट पे डिपेंड करता होगा ना सर कि कुछ जैसे प्रोडक्ट
ठीक है।
सर उसकी वजह से वो 10 डे के हिसाब से अगर आप करते हैं 10 डे के हिसाब से ये ज़्यादा दिन महीने तो खराब हो जाएगा।
सर शेयर टाइप की वजह से यहाँ पे सर
ठीक।
प्रोडक्ट की लाइफ से डिफरेंट एक्टिविटी है शायद उसकी वजह से
ठीक है। अच्छा देखें, टू काइंड्स ऑफ आंसर हैज़ कम, वन इज़ द शेल्फ लाइफ एंड द अदर वन इज़ cash flow. So you see the cash flow is pretty close. Why? Because the principal or the manufacturer wants the distributor to make the 1 week product available to the customer. Available to the customer. What does that mean? They must carry that much demand stock in their warehouse. If they do not keep that, then they can never replenish. For example, there is some problem in the machinery and the machinery stops working. So if they do not have any inventory, can they replenish 1 week? No, they cannot. So they say our distributor is supposed to make 1 week stock available to the customers. So they must keep the same way. They must keep the same way. Now you see, the 3 days, when you talk about the rest of the 3 days, if we talk about the 10 days, so the 3 days is of the inventory coming lead time. It's a lead time coming from the Lahore, from the Islamabad, from the other part of the country to the particular place. So whatever lead time is, you include in that. So that's how the company come up with the idea of number of days inventory the distributor need to keep. So you see how shrewd they are, how clever they are. They are not stucking with their amount. They are not their money is not stuck in the inventory, but they force the distributor to keep your money stuck for 10 days. So that's how they manage. That is also part of the risk management. When you manage the risk, it is kind of risk actually, because the customer requires the stock. You need to satisfy the customer requirement. So that requirement is done by the customer. So when this Haris was talking about the quality of service, that's how they manage. They are giving the quality of service, but through managing the distributor. They are reducing the cost and forcing the distributor to work in their own way. Now when we talk about the differentiated, in the differentiated strategy, saying something? In the differentiated particularly, we don't have to bother about anything. We are pretty much sure that our brand is so big, so differentiated, our product is differentiated, that the customer will be coming to us. Customer will be looking for our product to multiple shops, multiple retailers, multiple outlets. Okay? So you do not have to keep the inventory in a great volume. You do not have to keep the inventory in a great volume. Why? Because you think that your product is in a high demand and it has a less shelf life. It includes the technological devices like Apple. You see, Apple 16 is being registered by so many customers, and they are standing in the queue just for Apple 16 mobile. Why? Because of their differentiation. The product is not in the inventory. So there is a hype. The media is covering. Look, there is a long queue and people are standing. The whole night people wait in a long queue just for the mobile phone. Why? Because of their differentiation. In the Hong Kong, I remember, I saw in the news in the Hong Kong, the people stayed all night long just for the mobile phone. So differentiation really intact the customer. Intact the customer. Plus you reduce the risk, because your capability is not up to the mark. So you need to, now your customer expectation is so much high that he is spending more than 10 lakhs on a single mobile phone. So you cannot compromise on quality at all. So now here comes, because of the quality, you don't throw so much inventory in the market at all. You don't want it. Why? Because you are so concerned about the quality of the product. Like Notepad, Samsung Notepad blasted. ठीक है. Samsung Note 7, it got blasted because of the manufacturing capability. It was not that much matured. The problem came. So it is highly recommended that do not create so much inventory, so huge number of inventory that your quality is compromised. Plus they want to create the hype कि भाई मोबाइल फ़ोन आ रहा है, आ रहा है, आ रहा है, आ रहा है. कहाँ है? आ रहा है. ठीक है ना? So they want to be in media, in the hype, like that. So, and that is also marketing strategy to create a hype, as you might have studied marketing as well. Now, let's talk about the any questions so far in the differentiation in the cost effectiveness? Any question? Now let's talk about the responsiveness. When we talk about the responsiveness, what we try to do, we try to come up with the idea that delight the customer, that exceed the customer expectation. For example, make to order. Make to order. ठीक है? Branches in most part of the city, outlets in most part of the city. ठीक है? So because of that, like Park Suzuki, they are responsive, cost effective and responsive as well. Why? Because they are available in most part of the city, widely available, easily available. ठीक है? And the top companies, they are also responsive because they quickly come up with idea. Like L'Oreal is one of the biggest makeup company in the world. They are very responsive. They come up with a new product every month. Whatever is being displayed in the Paris fashion show, it is launched by the L'Oreal in a month. So you see they are responsive. Zara is an apparel brand, you might have known. Zara Men. Yes. So they are very responsive. How come? Any idea? What do they offer? How can we say they are responsive? Any idea?
फॉरेन अवेलेबल होते हैं ना.
Foreign, quickly available, yes. Very good, that's it. ठीक है. So availability is very quick and it requires you to invest on the inventory in a great amount, you know. It is not easy. You see, how can the product is available in a very short span of time? How? It requires you to develop a strategy which control your cost as well. Inventory is a huge cost, as I already mentioned, and your product will not be liked after 3 months. Your product is seasonal. The shirts you are stitching right now, it will not be liked after 3 months, 4 months. As per Zara, it will not be even available after 3 months. If it is their fashion product, if it is their classical product, it will be available across years. Okay? Like men t-shirts, simple t-shirts, they are available. But their fashion products, they are not available after the season. If available then maybe in a very little quantity. So you see responsiveness. How Zara Men manage the responsiveness? It manages the responsiveness through having the multiple warehouses across the world. And they use the most expensive way of transportation, that is the airplane. They use airplane to send their inventory to the outlets. You see, it is very costly. You use airplane for the perishable products, but they use for the non-perishable product. Can you imagine? That is why it is a premium brand. That is why people like to spend a great amount with them. So responsive require you to invest a lot of amount in the inventory specifically. Not inventory, technically in the transportation as well, in the logistics as well, not only inventory, because Zara keeps the inventory low. How come? Basically they have a strategy. They go with the cost effective and the responsive. Collectively they work on the both strategy. The fashion brands, the fashion products, seasonal product they have, they are responsive in that, and they use the most expensive way of transport, that is the airplane. They use the multiple warehouse. But when we talk about the classical product, the product which is across all the seasons are there, so they use the cost effective strategy and they use the other mode of transportation, that is ship, vessel. We use the vessel transportation system. That is not expensive actually. Okay, or road transport. That is also not as much expensive as the airplane. So they are managing both. So you see, companies are managing the expectation of the customer through multiple strategy as well. That is called two-pronged strategy. लिख लें हमारे पास two-pronged strategy. Two-pronged strategy. ठीक है? Why? Because they cannot compete. They cannot compete without this. Because the classical shirt, which does not have any fashion related stuff in that, it is not a hand stitch, it is not a fashion product, so people do not pay that amount of money. In that case, they get the production done by the Chinese people, Chinese industry. They contact the bulk manufacturer, okay, and get the manufacturing done from China, okay, for the whole world outlets. And for the responsive for the fashion product, they use the European industry. They use the European industry. Since it's in a Spanish retailer, so they use the European manufacturer over there. That is pretty expensive. The labor is expensive. The manufacturing is expensive there, but they go in that way, in that manner. Why? Because of their premium brand. So you see how we manage the both things together. That one company is using the cost effectiveness as well as responsive. They keep a huge quantity in this. Why? Because they are cost effective in their few products and they are responsive in few products. So that's how they deliver the quality to the customers. It's kind of challenging, but they manage it. Okay, now let's move ahead. This was all about the last class, last discussion. Any questions so far? Anything which is not covered or not discussed and you wanna learn? Ji, anything? Nothing. Can I rub it? Okay, let's rub it. Another discussion we did in the last class was type of inventory. Do you remember? Type of inventory. Okay, before that, I would like to discuss about the Amazon. Amazon is, tell me about the Amazon. That is Alphabet. You might know, it's the real name is Alphabet. The company name is Alphabet, but Amazon it's brand. So you see the Amazon, how the Amazon brand evolved. It started in the 90s, the late 90s. Now it's a giant, it's a global company, you know. It is one of the trillion dollar brand. Okay? It is competing with the Apple. Yes. No, I am talking about the company competition. I am not talking about the application. Okay. So you see, Apple is a huge brand as compared to Amazon. Apple has a huge history, the long history, but they do not have much. So you see how the company has revolutionized the virtual selling, the online selling. It is a case to learn. So we start our lecture with the inventory discussion with the Amazon. So what do you know about Amazon? Tell me. Yes, any idea about Amazon? What is Amazon? Have you come across, have you purchased anything from Amazon? What did you purchase?
प्लेटफॉर्म में जो प्रोवाइड करता है ये बाहर से आपको.
ठीक है. So did you get a chance to purchase anything? No experience. Is there anyone who purchased anything from Amazon? जी आप क्या कह रहे हैं? सॉरी, अच्छा कोर्स किया था. और आप क्या कह रहे थे? अच्छा, एनीवे यू डिड बिजनेस विद देम. जी अच्छा जी. So Amazon, let's start discussing from the beginning years of Amazon. From the beginning of Amazon to understand that how company evolved. The company started with the book selling concept. You see, book lovers are too many in USA. Like in our country, you find the clothes lover, the shoes lover, the TikTok lover, they have the books lover. So they found that market that was untapped. Okay? That was untapped. And it was very inconvenient for the customers to purchase a book. So they came up with the idea of the books. So book selling started online. And since every other person reads a book, so it was a huge market to tap. So they had a very huge opportunity. So they started their business in that manner. But it was not the only the book selling retailer. It was giving additional services to the customer. Any idea? The services which were very competitive and unparalleled in most ways. Okay, I am just giving a clue. It's about managing inventory. Yes, very good. Shabash. Quick delivery. Yes. Pre-ordering. Like book is about to launch, they give the pre-order. Downloading. But we are talking about the beginning years. PDF is also purchased actually. You have to pay for that. So it's kind of, we take it as a book. It's a book. Form could be changed, PDF or non-PDF. So note it down, I'm telling you. The error-free delivery. The error-free delivery and accurate inventory. With almost negligible return. That's how the company grow. That's how the company grew. When we talk about the Amazon, it grew on this concept. The company started making profit. How come? Because of that. They had a huge inventory. Or in the beginning, they had no warehouses even. In the beginning, they had no such warehouses. They were highly dependent on their suppliers. They did not keep the inventory in the beginning. They did not keep the inventory much. They used to take an order and give to the supplier, and through the supplier they manage. But after some time, they started carrying the books in a great number, millions of books. So you see, in that case, how they manage. They sustained and they keep growing their business through the error-free delivery, improve the customer satisfaction. It improved the customer satisfaction. And the second thing which I mentioned, it was accurate inventory. There was no problem in the inventory, because there are times when the inventory is not accurate. For example, in the books, in the software, it is 100 pieces are there, but physically there is one only. So is there any use of that? It's very important that you have the accurate. When 100 is mentioned, the inventory must be the same. Physical inventory. If it is not, then there is no point in having this software at all. So accuracy is very important. The last thing which I just mentioned is there is no return at all. Basically, return reduce your profitability. Any idea how come? The return of the customer.
रिटर्न जब आप obviously वापस आता है तो उस पे चार्जेस कॉस्ट एक्स्ट्रा होती है। वापस आते हैं,
क्या आती है?
खराब होती
क्या कॉस्ट होती है? व्हाट इज द कॉस्ट?
सर अगर हमारा प्रोडक्ट पसंद नहीं आया हमारे कस्टमर को जब वो तो वो वापस करेंगे तो उस कस्टमर की डोर स्टेप से हमारी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हाउस लगाने का कॉस्ट लगेगी, फिर ब्रांड इमेज हमारी खराब होगी, वो आगे सेल मतलब और खरीदारी नहीं करेगा।
Very good. Your good name? Amna. Amna has raised multiple points, so we will be following all of her points one by one. लेकिन सबसे पहले when we talk, keep noting down. When we talk about the return of the product, देखिए मैं आपको समझाऊंगा what is the return cycle. It is a very formal cycle actually. It does not tumble at all. It is a very sequential process. Whenever customer comes to you in the outlet or calls you to pick up the delivery, in both ways you need to incur cost. You have to incur cost. For example, if you have to pick your product back, then there is a transportation cost. If you have got the last mile delivery from the third party, the third party will be charging for that. Third party will be charging you for that. That is a great cost actually. It may be the 5% or the 2 or 1% of the total income you are about to get. ठीक है? Secondly, if the customer has arrived at your shop, at your outlet, then you have to basically check the product that it is as per your policy or not. Very, very important. For example, if you have a cooling off policy that you can use the product for 14 days without any problem, so you can return if the customer has arrived within the stipulated time, within the conditional time. If the customer has arrived after the 14 days, you will not accept the product. Plus, your policy is if it is damaged, if it is unstitched, if it is kind of deformed in any way, so you will not accept the product. Or if it is consumed, if something is eatable and it is consumed, you will not accept it. Or consume in the quantity which is not acceptable to you. So you need to check it first, and that requires you to have the labor of the trained labor who will be able to check it and accept it. Otherwise, it will be a great loss. It will be of no use to you. If any product is taken against your policy, then it is of no use to you. It is a complete loss to you. So you need to be very critical on that. After reviewing it, after checking it out, you accept it and you keep it in the outlet or you keep it at the storage space. Then all the returned products go to the main warehouse where they need to be sorted out and then go to the inventory again. It has to be in again in the warehouse. Now it is part of the inventory. It is a sellable item. And if it is not sellable, then it is a complete loss of yours. It's a very problematic one. Second thing, Amna mentioned that your brand image. Actually, your brand image is not tarnished. If the problem is in an acceptable range, for example, if you have given the cooling off period and the customer has given, no problem with the brand image. Okay, they are very happy that you are taking it back anyway because they have already used it, but they did not like it. If there is a quality problem in your brand, that can. Since you are an Amazon kind of company, so you are not the manufacturer at all. You are just giving the services of making the product available to your doorstep. So if there is any problem in the services, only the customer will be dissatisfied with your company, otherwise not. Otherwise not, because it is the problem of the manufacturer. Yes, this is the responsibility of the company like Amazon to ensure that you get the quality product. That is correct. But you cannot blame them for the product itself. It's a very important point and we need to understand it. Okay. So because of their accuracy, because of their error-free management of inventory, they are able to satisfy the customer, they are able to reduce the cost, operational cost, and the company keeps growing. The company keeps growing. Now you see they have started many businesses, and they started with the cloud computing as well, cloud storage as well, and they are one of the top cloud storage provider in the world. Plus they जी yes. So the brand image was developed with the basic terms which I just mentioned with you. In the 5 to 10 years, they created a very great image in the customer's mind that they are very quick to deliver, and they, whenever they promise, they keep their promise, and they are almost error-free. So Jeff Bezos take the error very seriously. The one accident is too many. So because of that, the customer was greatly satisfied, and they come up with a new concepts, multiple concepts, and every concept was acceptable by the customer. So you see, in the beginning, you have to work really very hard. You have to create your differentiation. When you have created your differentiation strategy in the customer mind, then it's very easy for you to keep launching new products, keep launching new businesses, new ideas. So because you already have a customer base, you already have a brand equity, so it's very easy for you to grow. Now let's talk about the functions of inventory. What are the functions of inventory? So tell me, what is the function of inventory? Any idea? What are the functions of inventory?
सर सामान को ऐसे रखना कि अगर भी आपको प्रोडक्ट क्वालिटी चाहिए,
Very good.
तो आगे रखो, आपको जो बाद में एक्सपायर हो रहा है तो आप पहले रखें।
जी
इजीली लिक्विडेट हो कैपिटल में कन्वर्ट हो।
ठीक है। अच्छा देखें, लिख लें अपने पास, टू डीकपल, इसका जो टर्म है दैट इज डीकपल. डीकपल मीन्स you absorb the shock of the demand, you stabilize the demand, because you never know what could be there is a lot of uncertainty in the industry, because I do not know if I go outside what would I drink even. So because of this uncertainty, they need to decouple it with the inventory. So write it down, to decouple various part of the production process. प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस अगर चैलेंज हो जाए, मतलब प्रॉब्लमेटिक हो जाए, टू डीकपल वेरियस पार्ट्स ऑफ द प्रोडक्शन प्रोसेस. So extra inventory may be necessary to decouple the production process from supplier. It may be necessary. Extra inventory may be necessary to decouple the production process. To decouple the production process from suppliers. To decouple the production process from suppliers. अब देखें, मैंने I already gave the example. You remember? When I was talking about the distributor, मैंने क्या कहा था? There is some problem. तो ये हमने वो बात कर चुके हैं. मैं आपको फॉर्मली बताई, मैंने आपको दोबारा. सेकंड बात हमने क्या करी, जो योर गुड नेम मुस्तफ़ा साहब ने जो है वो राइटली बताया कि टू एंटिसिपेट कस्टमर डिमांड. ठीक है ना? anticipated customer demand and to separate the firm from fluctuation in that demand. To fulfill the customer demand and to separate the firm from fluctuation. Fluctuation जो होती है, fluctuation in that demand. To provide a selection of goods for anticipated customer demand. When we talk about the selection of goods, it's a variety of goods. To provide selection of good for anticipated customer demand and to separate the firm from fluctuations in that demand. and to separate the firm from fluctuations in their demand, and to separate the firm from fluctuations in their demand. ठीक है, तो अब आप देखेंगे you go to any outlet and you don't find inventory. I remember I recently visited a pharmacy and the location was very problematic to me because there was no parking, but I managed to park, and when I parked there were too many people who were having trouble because of my parking, but I had to buy a single medicine. So when I reached the pharmacy shop, the medicine was not available. That was very unfortunate. So you see, it is very important to keep the inventory because it gives a very bad impression, specifically in the pharmaceutical industry. If you do not keep the inventory, then it's a very little chance that you as a pharmacy store would grow. You will never grow. Why? Because no customer comes with a single tablet. They come up with the list of tablets, specifically in this time. So if you do not have 3 in the list, 2 in the list, even 1 in the list, then there is no use to visit your outlet by the customer. There is no use. In fact, it is inconvenient for the customer to keep going to multiple shops in this current era in which we don't have much time. Okay? Specifically when we have the traffic conditions like this and the road conditions. Now write it down. The third point, the third function of the inventory is to take advantage of quantity discount. The third function is to take advantage of quantity discount. To take advantage of quantity discount.
सर ये फंक्शन तो कस्टमर की पर्सपेक्टिव से हुआ है, क्वांटिटी डिस्काउंट कंपनी ऑफर करेगी।
So don't you think it can be from the perspective of manufacturer? Think again. Think again.
स्टॉक क्लियर करने के लिए अगर करना चाहो, जैसे खाड़ी वगैरह पे
No, that is a separate discount. I'm talking about the purchase discount. जी? Yes, very good. Shabash. CR Saab, very good. So what does that mean? It means if you want to produce economically, if you want to reduce the per unit cost of your product, then you get the raw material or the semi-finished product in a great quantity, in the discount actually. Okay? In the discount. And specifically when we talk about the cost of goods delivery as well, because when you have a great quantity, then it is less costly for you. If you want any product in a little quantity, it is expensive to you. If you want in a good quantity, it is less expensive to you. If you want in a great quantity, it is least expensive to you. ठीक है? Like the small van, the truck and the container. ठीक है? Got it? So two kind of benefits we have: the quantity discount from the suppliers, the delivery delivery per unit cost. ठीक है? And the last, which is very very important in the current scenario, is the inflation cost. There are times when you do not know the cost of the product tomorrow, the price of the product tomorrow. So you try to keep in a good quantity so you can have the low per unit cost. ठीक है? इसके लिए hedging भी करते हैं. hedging concept लिख लें अपने बाद. hedge, HEDGE, hedge. Hedging is a very interesting concept. hedging is a very interesting concept. In that concept, what do? For example, PIA is purchasing fuel from the PSO. ठीक है? So what do? If there is too much fluctuation in the fuel prices, what do? They can hedge. What does that mean? It means they can make an agreement with the PSO that 50% of the fuel we will be buying you, that must be fixed. That must be having a fixed price. And the rest of the fuel we can give as per the market value, market price, whatever the price would be, you will be giving. But the 50% of the fuel we require in the next 3 months in a fixed price.
लेकिन वो बेचेंगे क्यों?
हाँ, वेरी गुड. देखें होता क्या है, उससे उन्हें फ़ायदा होता है. फ़ायदा क्या होता है कि there are times when the prices are low. You never know about the fuel prices. It's like egg prices. It changes daily. You can expect, you can forecast, but still it has so many factors, macro factors, which affect the price of the fuel specifically. So there are times when they are in benefit, and there are times when they are in a great trouble actually. So what do? They try to minimize the percentage of the fix. Try to minimize. But they want to facilitate the customer as well. The customer is having the problem. You see, airline is having a problem in fixing the prices of the tickets. So they want this favor from them actually. So they cannot say, no, we cannot favor you. So it is their reliable customer, loyal customer. So they need to favor them, and they try to favor, and they try to manage. There are times when there is a loss, but the loss is very little as compared to the profit they have. ठीक है जी? So hedging is a very great concept, and plus you can hoard as well. Hoarding is a negative connotation, and I think there is a law in which hoarding is basically illegal in Pakistan specifically. It is illegal. I guess I remember in the last government it was announced that 500,000 will be the penalty of the hoarder. If anyone hoard any perishable product specifically, or other product which is the food product, then they will be having the penalty of at least 500,000 or some jail kind of thing. Okay, so just a review the functions of the inventory. Anyone would like to contribute? What are the 5 functions of inventory? हाँ जी, Mr. I like the way you just did. तो बताइए, what are the functions of your inventory? Of inventory. जी जी. शाबाश. देखें रिकंसाइल कर लें सब. जी. बीच वाला. I discussed 5. Yes. जी. ठीक है. ठीक है. और नहीं बोले थे. Only 3 did we discuss? हैं? Sure? तो चौथा इन्फ्लेशन हुआ ना, तो लिखो ना इन्फ्लेशन. इन्फ्लेशन इज वन ऑफ द इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्टर. लिखें फंक्शन. देखिए सबसे पहले डीकपल की बात की हमने. ठीक है. फिर हमने देन वी टॉक्ड अबाउट द फ्लक्चुएशन इन द डिमांड की हमने बात करी. टू मीट द कस्टमर डिमांड, फ्लक्चुएशन इन डिमांड. Then we talked about the quantity discount. Talked about, that reduce our per unit cost. Then we talked about the hedging. तो 4 हुए, 5 नहीं हुए, 4 हुए. ठीक है, लेकिन 2 फिर भी नहीं हुए. ठीक है जी. आप कुछ कह रही मिस? अच्छा जी. We already discussed about the types of inventory. I guess you already know very well. जी. Break. What is the what is the time right now?
4 बज रहे हैं सर.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sir, 4 minutes left.
Very good. I like this honest man. Okay. देखें. When we talk about When you talk about the inventory types, लिखना चाहे तो लिख ले. देखें, these all are important for the paper. ठीक है? Because that is why I am very detailed in these topics, because these are the basis of inventory. If you do not know them, then you can never say in front of anyone that I know inventory very well. These are the basis. So what are the types of inventory? Anyone would like to contribute? जी आप.
Raw material.
Yes, good. Next. Raw material, finished good. Yes. Next. Raw material, finished good.
Machinery.
Machinery.
Components.
MRO, yes, MRO. Maintenance, repair and operations. Pipeline inventory, yes. Semi-finished. Shabash. That can be called work in process. Semi-finished can be called work in process. ठीक है? अच्छा, there are books in which you won't find the pipeline inventory, so do not get disturbed. If it is not in any company books, ठीक है? So what does that mean? It means they will keep that inventory into the finished goods. If they are not including the pipeline inventory in their any classification of inventory, that means they keep the pipeline inventory in the finished goods. ठीक है? Because they are same. ठीक है जी? तो I hope कि you liked the lecture discussion and understood the ideas, different ideas we discussed. ठीक है जी? Thank you very much. Let's take a break.